You got your Mac guys here on Birds 365. Love having Andrew on for one very specific reason. He's got strong opinions, and he's not afraid to give them to you. Doesn't mean I have to agree with him. I think he's woefully overrating Ben Van Zoom. Eagles, Giants,
yes.
Christmas Day.
Nice.
Were you like walking out of the stadium going, wow, the Eagles have found their new linebacker? That's what he made it sound like. Oh, my God, the best game that any Eagle linebacker had all year?
I believe, I'll have to think, he was talking about, well, he said he had a good game, but also Greg Cosell, who's a big film guy, said he had a good game. And I think he held up better than I expected. I do remember saying that. Yeah, that was Ben, when he came in, at the college level, he didn't play a lot at linebacker, and he was very raw, but very athletic. That was the book on him. And he looked like a fish out of water at first, and he did pick it up pretty quickly. And I think that the hope is there. Certainly, I'm not by any means saying the Eagles could count on him, and say, oh, we're going to go into training camp and pencil in Nakobe Dean and Ben Van Sumeren. But you know what? If this is the best I could do, and remember, the draft is still coming. I still believe the Eagles are going to draft a linebacker at some point. Can they get an Edgerrin Cooper? Probably not. Jeremiah Trotter, as you heard some of the issues from Andrew, maybe a little bit too close to what Nakobe Dean brings from a physical standpoint. Maybe you need a little bit of a different type. The kid from North Carolina, I forget his name offhand. Maybe they can get a player who's, capable of being a first-year starter in the draft, and they could turn in that direction. But if it's going to be Devin White, hey, let him have a chance. Let him see. Maybe he's more instinctive. Maybe he picks it up quicker. Because this guy's, even if it works, he's here for 1 year and then he's gone. And you need more of a long-term answer, obviously. And Ben's under contract as a undrafted free agent, so you got a couple of years to work with. I'm just saying he's going to be here, so it wouldn't hurt to give him a chance. And he's going to be here because of the special teams part of it that you mentioned, Jody. He's already a very good special teams player.
Yeah, Eagles.
So he's going to be here. Give him a shot.
I'm all for giving guys a shot, but I'm just not ready to say, oh, he's ready to step in.
No, I wouldn't say that. But I mean, and again, TJ Edwards got mentioned yesterday at the NovaCare complex because he's good friends with Zach Baum, who signed, and we should have got with. He was introduced yesterday. Another Wisconsin linebacker. Wisconsin's becoming linebacker U, by the way, at the college level. He was a 3rd-round pick. Yeah, obviously, TJ Watt, TJ Edwards, Andrew Van Ginkel's from Wisconsin. They all played together. But TJ recommended, still helping the Eagles out, recommended the Eagles to Zach Baum and said, yeah, go sign with them. So we'll see if he can help as well. But I think he's going to be more of an edge guy than a.
I was going to say, how much linebacker is he going to play, or is he going to be their 5th edge guy?
Backup edge guy. Yeah, I that's the feeling I get from talking to him yesterday. I think he's more, but he's been a hybrid. But he kind of took off a little bit. He's a good special teams player as well. But he kind of took off a little bit in New Orleans when they gave him a chance to rush the passer, not at off-ball linebacker. So I kind of get the feeling he's going to be a backup there. But we'll see how that shakes out.
Anything that Saquon Barkley said yesterday that grabbed your attention? I thought he handled it well with what he said about Giants fans. Listen, Tiki Barber aside, appreciate the Giants fans. They made it worthwhile during my time up there, but I'm now home. My kids can spend time with their grandparents. I thought he handled it very well yesterday. There's been a lot of back and forth stuff about Saquon and leaving and tampering and everything else. I thought what I saw of his time in front of the mic, he put himself in a good position here.
Yeah, I've only heard good things from everybody about Saquon Barkley as a person, as a leader, that type of thing. And I think you're right. He handled the tampering question well. He handled the Giants question well, and he went back and he said, "Yeah, I probably could have handled it a little bit better, my exit, because of what he meant to Giants fans." And you saw the reaction.
He let Tiki Barber take him off track. He should have just disregarded the whole Tiki calling him out on New York radio thing.
For all the tampering and all that stuff, the Giants didn't even offer him a contract. So, I mean, I don't know how upset Giants fans can be. They went in a different direction. They wanted to go in a different direction. But fans are fans. Look, I don't get the Eagles thinking about the kid he's a great kid. He's a phenomenal. I think people misconstrue everything if you say something. And I've said pretty consistently, he's a very good player. I haven't even said he's a bad player. I just don't necessarily get the fit and why the Eagles went out of their comfort zone, their usual decision making at the position. That's the kind of stuff I question. Everything else, I mean, he's top of the line when it comes to being a person, being a leader, being in the locker room. And I joked to him because Pat told us that story about the chess game. So I brought it up with him yesterday after I said, I was talking about to gauge his competitiveness, my Nick Sirianni, essentially Rochambeau test. And I brought it up and he said, he didn't say he won, did he? And I said, no, he admitted he lost. Yeah. So you can tell he's very, very competitive person, which is always a positive as well.
And here's what I guarantee will happen with Giant fans up in New York. And I haven't done a New York show in over a year, but did a lot of shows up there over the years. There will be a percentage of Giant fans who will not hear, and the Giants never made him an offer, which is absolutely my belief. Talking to people who know the situation within the situation, they had talked to him over the years about getting a long-term deal done.
Yeah.
And they just never did. But after the season ended, they had no conversations about a long-term deal for Saquon Barkley this year. And I'm 99.9% sure of that being a fact. There will be Giant fans that will either choose not to hear that or refuse to hear that. Because I dealt with that here in Philadelphia, John. It's the most famous one that I ever. Reggie White left the Philadelphia Eagles to go to the Green Bay Packers. No, he did not. Norman Brayman pushed him out the door. The Eagles offered Reggie White no long-term contract when he became a free agent. None. They never put a formal offer on the table. So Reggie was going somewhere. Where he was going to go, whether the Lord told him to go to a specific spot and the Lord told him to go to Green Bay, which just happened to be the exact same place that offered him the most money.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, I honestly don't know the answer to what moved Reggie. But I know what moved Reggie out of Philadelphia. His name was Norman Brayman. And there were Eagle fans that just refused to believe that. They no way. It's the fact, Jack. They never made him an offer. And the Giants never made Saquon an offer either. So Giant fans were all ticked off, following Tiki Barber's lead of "you're dead to me." He didn't have a choice. They didn't make him an offer.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I said that Reggie thing. Reggie got a lot of criticism over the years for the God comment. And I'm like, what's the assumption that an all-knowing being wouldn't be fiscally responsible as well? Of course God would tell him to go. So people would say, oh, it just happened to be the most money. Well, of course. God, in theory,
pretty good.
Whether you believe in it, he's pretty smart. So he's going to tell you to go to the right spot. You're right. The Eagles, Norman Brim, different era. For people that don't remember, Jeffrey Lurie is a very good owner. So again, I've criticized Jeffrey Lurie a lot this offseason, mainly during the coaching issues. Overall, very, very good NFL owner.
And I do want to get one more thing here before Damo joins us. Paul Damo is going to be coming up in less than 5 minutes. Someone sent me a tweet last night, said, "Hey, Jody, the Eagles are going to get the Hassan Reddick deal done because look what the Chargers did. The Chargers floated it out there that both Nick Bosa and it's the exact same thing here as with the Eagles, with Sweat and with Hassan Reddick, that their defensive edge guys are available for trade, and both renegotiated their contract, came back to the Chargers so that they don't get traded. There's a difference between the two situations. Josh Sweat could play the same. Hassan Reddick's not. Both Bosa and Mack didn't live up to their contracts last year. Not that they were bad, but their contracts were so big that they couldn't live up to them. They had already gotten their next payment, and they didn't quite live up to them. So the Chargers had a little leverage, and they used it, and they got him to negotiate back down. Hassan Reddick has overachieved in his contract. He's played above and beyond the $15 million he was supposed to make. You don't think the Charger thing, that's what I responded to tweet. I said, you're comparing apples and oranges. Do you think there is a comp between what the Chargers were able to do, get their two stud defensive edge guys?
More because of the financial. Like Khalil Mack was really good last year. Joey, and he always said Khalil Mack's phenomenal, but he's old, and you know how this league works. I mean, it's just it is what it is, you know. And guys who are that age, they're, you know, the assumption is that the ball is coming. And maybe that assumption is too quick. The old, better to give up on a player a year early than a year late. But Khalil Mack had a tremendous season last year. Joey Bosa, in the case of Hassan Reddick, but they're both paid like top of the line edge rushers. Hassan Reddick's not.
No.
That's the difference.
That's why
he is.
Can't comp him.
Yeah, that's the difference. Hassan is way underpaid for his production level in the NFL. It just is what it is. How many? Is it 2? 4 consecutive seasons over 10 sacks?
4 in a row.
There's some guys. Yeah, there's some guys like Hunter who just got what did Hunter get? 30 million. Like he had an injury.
29,
like
almost 30. Yeah.
That guy's been really consistent, but he had a couple injuries that derailed his 10 sack streak. But anytime he's healthy, he gets 10. And there's certain guys that get double digits, and they're pretty consistent. But Hassan is just way underpaid. There's no, he just is. And that was his quote last year. He said, "You guys know." And yeah, we do know you're underpaid.
And last thing before we punch Damo up, have you heard anything about any team having any interest, or the Eagles talking anything about it? If there have been conversations, got to give both parties credit.
Yeah.
Been very quiet.
Yeah.
That has surprised me. I thought we would have heard something by now. All right, Mullen McDonald here with you on Birds 365. Coming up next, our usual Friday guy, who was nice enough to go a little bit later than he usually does. Damo likes to get up first thing in the morning and attack things. We asked him to push back to 9:20. He said, "Yeah, if you need me 9:20, I can do that." And he's got the shirt. But the shirt is already wrinkled because he's had it on for an hour now. Paul Domwich up next here with us on Birds 365.